4 things that you need to do if you want to have a successful 90-day streak, your first successful month off porn. I'm somebody who has been on NoFap for 6 years now, and I've been helping guys to get off of porn and stay off on the long term for 2 years. First, starting cold turkey, quitting porn cold turkey will most often lead to relapses. People can quit cold turkey, but that is the exception. Most times what happens if you try to quit porn cold turkey after watching it for decades is that you will experience insane cravings and eventually you may give in to porn. The right way to go about this is before you actually start your NoFap journey, you have to prepare to be able to cope with being off of porn for multiple days in a row. So what I have done and what I would recommend as well to reduce the amount of porn that you watch before starting your NoFap journey, give it a good 1 to 2 weeks at least of watching porn 2 to 3 times a week. And this links into the second big misconception: reducing intensity doesn't matter. So reducing the intensity of porn that you watch is just as important as reducing the frequency. And people just expect to be able to quit after completely burning out their brain for years. And it's just not very realistic. Like, your brain is going to shout and shout and shout for days. If you are somebody with an iron will, high levels of discipline, you may be able to withstand the shouting for some time, but most of the guys who are trying to quit porn will not be able to do so. This is why it's also super important to reduce the intensity of materials that you watch before quitting. The easiest way to stay off of porn long term, right before quitting porn for good, just reduce the intensity to like very low levels. And I'm not just talking about watching like some vanilla, whatever, normal stuff. I'm talking about perhaps not even watching a video, maybe just watching some images of some women that you fancy, right? And that will help your brain to adapt to lower and lower doses of dopamine. And it has been a very easy fix for people who come to me in need of coaching because they can't quit and they keep relapsing. They need a structure because trying to quit cold turkey has not worked for them for a very long time. And so we don't even try to do cold turkey because that would be just doing the same thing with the accountability of a coach. What we do is we reduce the intensity and then reduce the frequency to 2-3 times a week, and then we can quit porn. And that's how we do it. And that has given the best results so far. So the third is that you need replacement habits for not watching porn. So if you're not watching porn, you're not expending the energy that you have built up in you. So you need other things to utilize that energy. So maybe it is physical energy. You have extra physical energy, so you can go to the gym, maybe an extra session every week. If you have some emotions built up, you need to do some journaling and some self-reflection, write things down, and that helps a lot. If you have some problems with dopamine and problems with your brain always trying to make you think about porn, then you need to meditate and you need to practice meditation. But all of these things won't work for you at the start. That's what they don't tell you this. It doesn't work. You can't just sit down and meditate for an hour for the first time in your life. It is a skill to meditate, to journal, to work out, do heavy weights. You have to learn the skill. And it is also a skill to deal with urges, to be able to have the automatic behavior of, for example, going for a walk or calling a friend or a loved one when you have these urges. It is not an automatic switch that you just do. So if you try NoFap and you all of a sudden realize that this is really hard, well, it's hard because you are in need of some basic skills that other people who aren't watching porn regularly have already created in their life over the past 10, 20 years or however long you have been watching porn regularly. And the good news is these things are very easy to learn, but they still take 1 to 2 years to get to a very, very high level. And until that 1 to 2 year mark comes, you might experience some situations where you're extremely stressed, where you're going through some extraordinary environmental change. You have a death in your family, you have a massive drama, breakup, whatever it is, financial stress, and your skill might not be high enough to deal with the thing that is causing you the specific stressor, right? And so in that case, you might actually, quote unquote, relapse. This is something that people try to deny. People, no, you can just be off of porn. Yeah, of course, you can be off of porn forever. You can really get very, very good at meditation, at automatically reaching out to people, at going for walks and stuff, to a point where, you know, unless something terrible goes wrong in your life, you might not even be relapsing at all. And restarting the streak is the key to long-term success, because if the relapse happens, which in general most people will relapse in their first 2 years of doing NoFap, of quitting porn. But if you're able to continue the streak after relapsing, you will have a very, very much easier time the second time around, and then the third time around. Versus if you get all depressed and lose hope, lose belief in your own skills, you will actually relapse, because relapse medically means is the return of the original condition. So you will actually go back to watching porn regularly, and that is something that you want to avoid. That is the worst thing that you can do for your brain, because within these 90 days, your brain is healing, but the healing doesn't stop at day 90 when you reach 90 days of not watching porn. The healing of your brain continues until like 1 to 2 years in the future. Yeah, so number 4, no PMO, no orgasm, semen retention is not part of NoFap necessarily. So NoFap and quit porn coaching, quitting porn is around just not watching porn, right? Because porn is like, it's really, really bad for your brain. It's really unhealthy. It can really hurt your confidence, your social skills, your focus, your future prospects, your career, everything in life. I have respect for people who try semen retention. Like, I have been on semen retention before as well. So no PMO as the rule of not orgasming, not masturbating and not watching porn is like extreme, you know? You don't actually need to not have sex with anyone. But, you know, having sex is natural for most people who have been watching for 10, 20 years. Masturbation isn't really a good idea. It is really, I would recommend, because I've done this as well, to just stay off of porn, and also do like semen retention if you don't have a girlfriend or a partner. Worrying about masturbation, and then is what I've experienced is if I masturbate, then I have urges to watch porn, because my brain is wired in such a way that if I masturbate, then porn gets stronger, like the urge to watch porn. Instead of doing that, just focus on yourself. Perhaps go out on dates after day 60, day 90. And yeah, don't worry about the semen retention part. That is the 20%. That is the not very efficient part of no PMO, of NoFap. The really big gains are made when you're able to quit porn consistently. And sure, you might relapse once every 2 years or something like that in the first 5 years or so. But that's okay. If you are able to stay off of porn consistently, you will see your life change for the better. You will have better physique, better focus, significantly more confidence, more relationships in your life. And yeah, that's what it's all about. Just avoid burning out your brain with dopamine. yeah, that's the whole idea here. So if you're interested and you need help, I offer coaching and we have some challenges coming up. So check the link in the description and you can check that out.